President Donald Trump announced advanced weapons aid to Ukraine through NATO. He also threatened to impose a 100% tariff on all trade partners still doing business with Russia if a peace agreement is not reached within 50 days, aiming to increase economic and military pressure on Moscow.
U.S. President Donald Trump has just announced that the United States will transfer the most advanced weapon systems to Ukraine through NATO member states. Alongside this, he also warned that strict tariffs would be imposed on Russia unless a peace agreement is established within the next 50 days. In a statement following his meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in Washington, Trump emphasized, "We want to ensure that Ukraine can do what they want to do." Rutte confirmed that the United States had decided to massively supply Ukraine with what is needed through NATO, and affirmed that the costs would be borne by Europe. According to President Trump, European countries will transfer Patriot air defense systems to Kyiv, systems Ukraine currently desperately needs to counter Russia's fierce airstrikes. Afterwards, the U.S. will continue supplying replacement equipment to European allies. Neither Rutte nor Trump provided specific details on the types of weapons to be sent to Kyiv, but Rutte confirmed that the agreement includes both missiles and ammunition. President Trump added that a large quantity of top-tier weapons worth billions of dollars would be rapidly deployed to the battlefield to support Ukraine. "If I were Vladimir Putin today, I would reconsider whether I should take the negotiations over Ukraine more seriously," Rutte said, while Trump nodded. On social media platform Twitter, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that he had a conversation with President Trump following Trump's meeting with Rutte. Zelensky expressed his appreciation for the willingness to support Ukraine and to cooperate in preventing violence and establishing a just and lasting peace. "We discussed with the President the necessary measures and solutions to better protect our people from Russian attacks and to strengthen our position. We are ready to work as effectively as possible to achieve peace," he said. Regarding tariffs, Trump stated that the United States would impose a 100% secondary tariff on products from countries that maintain trade relations with Russia if a peace agreement with Ukraine is not reached within 50 days. This means that any country still engaging in transactions with Russia will face heavy tariffs if they wish to export goods to the U.S. market. For example, if India continues to import oil from Russia, American companies purchasing goods from India would have to pay a 100% import duty or tariff on those products when they arrive in the United States. This could lead to higher product prices, prompting U.S. businesses to seek alternative suppliers at lower prices, thereby directly affecting India's revenue. This policy also aims to weaken Russia's economic p. Given that oil and gas contribute roughly one-third of Russia's state budget and account for over 60% of total export revenue, the 100% tariff could severely impact Moscow's financial situation. Despite Trump's tough statement, the Moscow Stock Index still recorded a significant gain after the announcement. Analysts believe investors are expecting Trump, who recently hinted at making an important announcement related to Russia, to take even more aggressive actions. Although the full details of both the tariffs and NATO's weapons aid plan have yet to be disclosed. This is the first time Trump has officially committed to supplying new military equipment to Ukraine since returning to the White House. A notable point in the press conference was the shift in tone from the U.S. president, who increasingly makes confrontational statements toward Vladimir Putin. At one point in the past, Trump implied that Kyiv also bore partial responsibility for Russia's decision to launch a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. However, he now appears to express frustration at the lack of progress in ending the war, something he previously believed could be easily resolved. Responding to a question about his relationship with Putin, President Trump said the two had discussed ending the war extensively. However, he expressed disappointment that very positive phone calls between the two leaders were frequently followed by intense Russian airstrikes on Ukraine, with increasing frequency and intensity. "After that happens 3 or 4 times, you say the conversation doesn't mean anything." Trump said, "I don't want to call him a killer, but he's a tough guy. That has been proven over the years. He has deceived many: Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden. He added, "He didn't deceive me. At some point, words no longer matter. Actions do." Two ceasefire negotiation rounds between Russia and Ukraine were held earlier this year, but so far show no signs of a third meeting, a delay Russia blames on Ukraine. President Zelensky is currently meeting with UN envoy Keith Kellogg in Kyiv. Earlier on Monday, Zelensky also praised an effective meeting and expressed gratitude to Trump for his unwavering support. Meanwhile, Russia has not made any official comments on the U.S. announcement. However, some responses from Moscow suggest a lack of concern. Sergei Markov, a Kremlin-aligned analyst and former aide to Putin, called Trump's tariff policy statement a lie, saying it shows Trump has abandoned efforts to create peace in Ukraine. For his part, Senator Konstantin Kosachev argued that if this is all Trump has to say about Ukraine today, then so far there's nothing of substance. Kosachev wrote that in the next 50 days, many things could change both on the battlefield and in the mindset of those in power in the United States and NATO.